Hello, everyone, and welcome to English 112. My name is Dr. Marta Werner, and I am your professor this semester. This is, as you know, an introductory research methods course, and here you'll be learning, among other things, the basic tenets of academic research. This includes an understanding of what research is, the various different kinds of research one can engage in, how to find and vet scholarly, solid, credible sources, and how to enter a critical debate in a timely manner, and of course, how to do all this very elegantly as well. The content of this research course concerns animals and society, and this broad, very interdisciplinary field concerns human-animal ecologies, cultural attitudes towards animals, our imagination of animals in our symbolic systems, and our historical interactions with animals. As such, I think it should be of wide interest to many different majors, certainly biology majors, people thinking about pre-vet, of course, but also people in the social sciences, sociology and psychology, in the humanities, history, literature, and of course in philosophy, where questions of ethics, animals and ethics, will be very much part of the texture of our course here. And of course religious studies majors as well, since animals have a long history in our religious systems as well as our larger cultural systems. It will also appeal to those of you who may be animal lovers and animal advocates, of which I count myself certainly one. Since there are many different English 112 courses, each with a different focus in terms of the course content, I hope that you'll think carefully about whether or not you want to take this class or whether another one would suit you better. Obviously, in a certain way, we're all teaching the same things about research, but it very much helps the research process to be interested in the course materials. So think about it and look at what other courses are also available to you before completely committing to this one. This is also a completely online asynchronous course, which means that we will meet, but only in the space of Moodle, or when you want to meet with me face-to-face via Skype or FaceTime. I'm not sure where all of you are. Some of you may be in Buffalo, some of you may be far away from Buffalo, but I am far away from Buffalo this semester in Bloomington, Indiana. But don't imagine that I'm not going to be very present in your lives this semester. You'll hear from me at least once a week via the news forum in Moodle, and you'll also hear from me through my responses to your assignments. And generally, I try to show up here in a more immediate fashion, right, via video, to check in and see how you're doing. Today, then, I want to say a little bit more about our Moodle site and go over the syllabus and assignments so you know from the outset what, what your responsibilities are going to be. And especially if you haven't taken a course, an online course before, it really helps, I think, to spend a little bit of time orienting yourself to the site and seeing how it's organized. In the very first module of our Moodle site, you're going to find a lot of important documents for you. First of all, there is the news forum, and this is a major venue of my communication with you. It used to be the case that if I posted something in the news forum, you would automatically get that post in your email. And some of you may have been around long enough to remember when that happened. It doesn't happen anymore. So short of emailing each of you directly, right, which would be rather time consuming, and also wouldn't leave a record of our course, I need you to come to look at the news forum. Right? Look at it at least twice a week. You might not find a message from me there, but you very well might. The other thing that you will find in this first first module, sort of before our week 1 materials, is a space for introductions. I've introduced myself there, and I hope that you will follow suit and introduce yourselves. You'll also find the course syllabus. You'll find a very detailed overview of the course assignments, and you'll find a form for questions. That form for questions is really a forum for general questions about the course. And while in the past I know many students have emailed me with their questions, I really appreciate it if you post those general questions to the forum, because a lot of times another person in the class will have the same question, but for whatever reason won't ask it. And so by posting that question, you're actually helping not just yourself, but one of your classmates as well. You'll also find a list in this very first module of important sites and sources. Among the most important is a site called the Oxford Handbook of Animal Studies. This is going to be a print edition, but at the moment, because people are still contributing to this print edition, they're showing us a kind of work in progress. This is a fabulous kind of cache of documents from many, many different perspectives on animals and society. You'll also find the Animals and Society Institute, a link to the Animals and Society Institute. And this too is a critical site for you. One of the things that is so wonderful about this site is that it contains many bibliographies, which will be of tremendous use to you when you begin your research projects. There are also some links to student resources that you may be familiar with, but sometimes it's just nice to have them a click away. The Learning Center, is certainly one of them. The library, another one. The Office of Disabilities, and a few other sites about online learning. There's also a link to the Counseling Center, and I put this here because being a student is a very stressful thing, or it can be a very stressful thing. And if you are struggling with stress or anxiety or depression, I really recommend talking to someone about it. It can make a very big difference, and it can make the difference between losing a semester and completing a semester very successfully. So do use those resources as you need them. You'll also find in that first module a list, and not an exhaustive list, but an important list of critter cams. And if you don't know what a critter cam is yet, you will very soon. What they are live cameras looking at different populations of animals. And you're going to be looking at these critter cams, or at one of them particularly, for a major project in this class. So you can find some examples there. Next, when you look at the topics, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, etc., you'll see that each topic corresponds to a week in the semester. So topic 1 equals week 1. And for each week, you'll see various things. You'll see required readings, a list of required readings. You'll see additional recommended readings and viewings. You'll generally find a PowerPoint presentation which I've made up, but what it does is synthesize some of the major points, or distill some of the major points in the required reading. You'll find discussion questions about each of the readings, whether they're required or recommended. And you'll also find two more very important things. First of all, you'll find PDF files or links to the supplemental recommended readings. I made these PDF files so that you wouldn't be buying huge numbers of books. So you'll find all of those supplementary readings on the site itself. And you'll also find in each reading week a form for questions. So if you have questions or just comments you want to make about the week's reading, you will find a forum in which to make those questions, or ask those questions and make those comments. And then for each writing week, usually what will happen is you'll have a week of reading, and then you'll have a week of writing and reflection. You will find reminders of what assignments are due. You'll find sometimes a forum, right, in which, well, always a forum in which you're going to post your assignments. And you'll also find a grading forum that you don't need to post to. So let me just say this again so it's absolutely clear. When you post your work, you are posting it to a public forum. That means that everybody in the class has access to what you have written. And this is a really wonderful thing, right? I find that it tends to do a couple of things. One, it's really informative. Right? It really helps you start to build your argument and to enter into the various critical debates that are going on into the class. And second of all, it builds a sense of camaraderie among all of us, so that we see that we're doing this together. This is not just something that we are individually doing in our rooms far, far away from each other, but that this is in fact a course, and we are here working through these questions, these readings, these questions together. Now, after the public forum, you will find something that just says grade for week 1 assignments. You do not need to post your assignment there. In fact, I would appreciate it if you did not, right? Because that is a different sort of, all that forum is doing is allowing me to give you a grade on your materials. Right? As long as you've posted to the public forum, I don't need to see that other, I don't need you to post to the other forum. There are 3 major assignments for the class. One of them is a reading journal. Another one is an annotated bibliography, and the last one is a natural history project. I'm going to say a little bit more about each of these assignments here, but please review the assignments in detail at your leisure. They're all posted on Moodle, and the best place to look at them is in that overview of assignments, where you'll find not only very detailed directions for each assignment, but also a grading rubric for each one. All right, so let's start with the first assignment, which is also a kind of ongoing assignment, meaning that you'll be working through this pretty much all semester, and that is a reflective journal. You're going to be composing, over the next 15, 16 weeks, 6 journal entries, and each of those entries will be worth 5 points, for a total of 30 points. So here's another something that you should be aware of. The course is based on points, right? So it's not, if you might get an A on all your journals, right, but that's 30 points towards a larger number of points for the whole. So be aware, right, when you're looking at your materials, how many points you're earning on each assignment, how many points out of how many possible points. The journal is a place for you to post your reflections on what you've learned and experienced throughout each week. Between the course readings, the discussion questions, the natural history posts, and your daily experiences, there's going to be concepts and understandings that are new to you or that shifted your perception in some way. By journaling about these, you have a kind of format to synthesize your knowledge and your skills and your experiences, and most importantly, to find meanings and make connections among these various different things, right? Your reading, your experience, what you're watching in the critter cams, etc., etc. They don't have to be long, right? What I'm looking for here is an entry about 250 words, maybe, a little bit, almost a page, but not more than a page. But they should reflect your thoughtful engagement with the course readings and the concepts and questions raised by them. If you want to write more than 250 words, you can. Assignments with fewer than 250 words are not really going to meet the minimum requirement. Journal entries are always going to be graded on a 5-point scale. If your weekly entry is solid and engaging, you're going to get a 4 out of 5. If your weekly journal entry displays a great deal of effort and thought, you will receive a 5. And you'll get a 3 or lower if your entry shows very little thought, if it's excessively sloppy in terms of its grammar, spelling, mechanics, if it engages certainly in any kind of personal attack or breach of common etiquette, or if it's ridiculously late. So those are the journal entries. You'll be writing one about every 2 weeks, right? Generally reading week, writing week. Your second assignment is an annotated bibliography and research reflections. And this is worth 35 points. So while your 6 journal entries together are worth 30 points, this single assignment of the annotated bibliography is worth 35. And the annotated bibliography is designed to reflect your ability to conduct intensive, independent, college-level research on a subject related to the course and hopefully also of interest to you. It's really going to be about, right, what it's going to show, or hopefully what it will demonstrate, is your ability to comprehend, to synthesize, and to articulate the arguments from academic and scholarly sources, and your ability to employ proper citation form, whether that is APA or MLA. You're going to be using finding for scholarly, peer-reviewed sources, including scholarly book chapters, scholarly articles, and but only one scholarly source on the web related to your subject of research. The annotations will be 200 to 300 words long. And once you've completed your annotations, you will also be composing a 1 to 2 page reflection on the research process and on your enriched understanding of that process, an enriched experience that you've gained through your commitment to this particular assignment. Please look carefully at the guidelines about this project in the overview of assignments. And please also note that you can only begin your annotated bibliography after you've had your research topic approved by me. I do this not because I intend to disapprove of your topic, but because I want you to have the best possible chance of making this assignment a successful one. And sometimes topics need to be tweaked just a little bit to make that happen. Okay, your third assignment, and I think perhaps one of the most interesting ones, is what I'm calling the Natural History Project. And if any of you took a 111 course with Dr. Finnegan, you may be very familiar with this project. Dr. Finnegan and I actually developed this project together. I started it with a much smaller version. She expanded it. And now in this third iteration, it's kind of a combination of those first 2 approaches. So, and I think this is going to be a fun project, but it's also a project that's a long term, right? You're going to be working on this for quite a while. And that's the case with all of these assignments, right? It's true of the journal entries, which you'll be working on consistently over the semester. It's true of the annotated bibliography, which is something that can't be done in a few days, right? Or even a week. Right? It will take some concerted time. And of course, now this natural history project. So this is where the critter cams come in. The editors of the National Geographic research site explain. They say critter cam systems are deployed on animals for research to go where the animals go and see what they see, undisturbed by a human observer. They allow us, for the first time, to witness the lives of animals from the animals' own perspectives. And so over the course of this semester, you're going to engage in an ongoing project of animal observation using this CritterCam technology. This ongoing project will then culminate in some kind of written project due in the final week of class. And by written, I intend a very broad interpretation of what writing means. Your written projects may be essays, they may be memoirs, slideshows, videos, spoken word pieces, creative writing pieces, blogs, really anything you can think of. Until the due date for this final project, you're going to spend a minimum of 1 hour every other week observing your chosen group of animals on the live stream of the CritterCam and recording what you observe in a log. After observing and logging your observations, you will spend a minimum of 1 hour every other week writing a reflection of some kind about what you've observed. And so by the end, or by the time you start to gather this together in your final project, you'll have 5 weeks of reflections on which to base that project. You're then going to create a project based on what you have observed and reflected upon. And the format is going to be up to you. It should foreground, really showcase the skills you have or that you want to develop in your research project. It can be anything you want. And the project is designed to provide you with an opportunity to achieve the following goals. First of all, to develop the skills of attentive and patient observation. It's very hard to do this. And you can consider the animals you are watching a kind of text that you're observing, you're reading, you're interpreting. It also should allow you to develop the skills of formulating and pursuing questions beyond that literal level of the quote-unquote text, right? That is, pursuing philosophical questions or questions focused on values and ethics and meaning, and drawing connections between the primary text and other course texts, current events, and personal experiences and insights. It should allow you to work on synthesizing material from observations and reflections into a project that sustains a coherent position or point of view and a meaningful narrative. And it should showcase your skills to use documentation, citation forms properly. I think it's going to be a very exciting semester. This is the third time I've taught this course, and I've enjoyed it each time, both times before, and I think that my students have as well. In fact, a lot of people have said that this really helped them in their other courses. So I hope that experience will be yours as well. And I hope, too, that as the semester goes on and as we come to know each other better, you'll feel free to give me some feedback. Tell me when there are things that you want or need for the course. I'm always happy to listen to your reflections and to your commentary. So, for now, let me leave you with these thoughts, these instructions, and I hope to hear from many of you on the discussion boards and certainly on the introductory forums. Look in week 1, right, there's already a reading assignment, so start doing the reading. The books, the required texts should be at the college bookstore, or if you want to, of course, you can order them online. I did, thinking that maybe some of you wouldn't have had the opportunity to buy the texts yet, I did include on Moodle the first couple of assignments, the first couple of readings as PDF files. That won't continue for the required texts, but it will be there for the first couple of weeks. Anyway, I look forward to getting to know you better over the semester, and I hope we have a wonderful time together. Until next time, take good care.